Welcome to another edition of the Gridiron Report. I'm Jarret Johnson, and for those who don't know, I've been going position group by position group, breaking down Texas Tech's football roster in advance of the start of spring ball, which spring ball starts March 15th, so it's right upon us. We're less than a week away. I'm really excited about that, but we're all the way to linebacker now. We've done quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, tight ends, offensive line, defensive line. Now we're at linebackers, and quite honestly, this is the easiest position group for me to break down because it's the strength of the team. I think running backs are another strength. We're going to have to see with Tyler Shuck. I mean, that quarterback might have gone from a weakness to being one of the strengths. I don't think it's the strength. But linebacker is certainly, it's where it's at for Texas Tech. And I think that may surprise a lot of people who don't really follow the program closely, but those who do know the Red Raiders are bringing back quite a group. And it's really because of this super senior season or second senior season, however you want to look at it. The NCAA's blanket eligibility waiver that is allowing basically the 2020 season, it was playing with house money. You didn't have to spend a year of eligibility playing. Whether you played one snap or every snap for your team, it didn't count towards your eligibility. So that means a lot of guys are coming back. And a lot of really good guys. And two of those I'm going to start off talking about. One, Rico Jeffers. He's a guy who didn't get the benefit of a red shirt as a freshman. They threw him right out there. He didn't start, but he played a lot. They just, quite frankly, they needed him. And, he could have used a red shirt freshman, or a red shirt season. So, in effect, that's what he's getting. And Rico Jeffers is a guy, first off, he's a vocal leader on this team. He's one of the big time, the leaders, the guys that, the guy that people look to, especially on defense, but overall on the team. But, I always felt up until last year that he wasn't really living up to that role. Like his production didn't equal his recruiting hype. It didn't equal kind of like his role on the team. And that was before last year, because last year he really stepped up. He took that next step in Keith Patterson, defensive coordinator, Keith Patterson's scheme, which really is geared towards these linebackers running around making plays. And Rico just played at an all Big 12 level until over the last 2 or 3 games he was banged up. And I think he actually had to sit out the season finale against Kansas. But he's turned into a tremendous college football player, and I think he has an NFL future. As a matter of fact, I think 3 of Tech's linebackers who are projected to start, I feel like, are future NFL players. And that includes Colin Schooler, who came in last year as a grad transfer, as a senior grad transfer. He'd already been a Associated Press first team all Pac-12 performer. I told people when they asked me, like, how good is this guy? I said, I think he might be your best player as soon as he gets on campus. Now, it took him a little bit to get acclimated to the team, the scheme, the program, all that. But once he did, man, he was one of, if not the best player on Texas Tech's roster last year. He made some amazing plays. He made game-changing plays. I think most people look back at that goal line hit on Charlie Brewer, which really saved them points that Texas Tech needed. It was the difference in the game later on. But it also rallied that team. The team made a huge comeback in that game, or a huge effort after that play. And I think not just that, but the mentality, a physical nature, a ornery, I'm not your friend, I'm here to kick your butt type of personality is what Schooler brought to that defense and that was sorely lacking in that and sorely needed that. So, I'm a huge Colin Schooler fan. I'm surprised he's returning for his senior season, but I'm really happy for Texas Tech fans that he is, because him and Jeffers together, that is, what a 1-2 punch. And that's even before I get to junior Christian Merriweather, who actually led the team in tackles last year. He was a junior college All-American. He led the country in terms of junior college players the year before he got to Texas Tech in total tackles, and he really didn't disappoint. I thought he was going to be amazing as soon as he got plugged into the program, because he's a perfect fit for Coach Patterson's scheme. Just a sideline-to-sideline guy, 6 foot 240. I've mentioned this several times, but I was really impressed during his recruiting visit. In full gear, helmet, full pads, everything. Did a backflip standing there in the indoor practice facility. So he's a tremendous athlete, very physical, and was very good last year. So those 3 guys together are just tackling machines, really good football players. You could make the argument that they're the best linebacking core in the Big 12 next year. And I think most people would only balk just because you don't really associate Texas Tech with linebackers, but I think you should start. Another guy coming back, and he's also utilizing his super senior or second senior season, and that's Jacob Morgenstern. And it's another guy who really, I expected him to help out on special teams, and he did. He was a great special teams player at Duke, and then he transferred over to Texas Tech. But he was very good at linebacker. He made a lot of big plays, whether it be forced fumbles, fumble recoveries, big hits. He was another very physical player. Now, I'm concerned about his health. I hope he doesn't do a lot this spring because they know what they have in him. But he showed his toughness just by suiting up some of those games last year because he was really banged up, held together, knee, shoulder injuries. But he was a very physical presence, a veteran presence. He's 6'4", 220. He can run as well. So he's a versatile guy. He plays several linebacker spots, whatever you need. So I'm a big fan of his. Those four guys just alone, wow, you're really excited about. Brandon Boyer-Randall is a guy who came in, he's playing kind of like that rush position, that Raider position, whatever they're calling it now. It's been called several names. It's the overhanging outside linebacker position. It's a defensive end outside linebacker hybrid spot. And, physically he's gifted. He has all the tools. And early in the season, he really showed that. Like, his speed and size, everything, showed up, but I don't really remember him doing a whole lot later in the season. So they're going to need more from that critical position than what they got last year. So that's somebody who's to come on. They have some guys in terms of providing depth also behind them, younger guys. Tyree Matthew, who I really like. You start talking about the future. Derek Lewis he was the top target they had in the 2020 class. And he's only about 205, 210 pounds. So that's really why he didn't play last year. And because all the veterans ahead of him. But they really like him. He's a classic sideline-to-sideline guy. He just needs to beef up. And supposedly he did very well on scout team in practice. And they're expecting big things from him down the road. Bryce Robinson's another guy who's been in the program now. He's recruited by these guys. At least he's developing. I don't really have a lot to say about him other than he's gotten a little bit of seasoning and he's continuing to develop. It's good for depth. He's definitely a Power 5 type linebacker, so this isn't a reach. He's a guy who probably would have started 4 or 5 years ago. Would have been thrown out there, and now I think he's like third or fourth string. That gives you an idea of the depth. Look, linebacker is a big position of strength. There's some other guys who I think who will figure in, but that's the main core of who Texas Tech's going to be trotting out there next season, and I really do believe it's the strength of the team. And I can't wait to see them play again. I hope most of those guys are veterans, so I'm not expecting them to play a lot this spring, but they're going to have to a little bit, and I can't wait to see them again. They're on the top of my list of what I'm excited about the most next season in terms of watching Texas Tech football. So up next, we'll be talking defensive backs. I want to thank you for watching, and until next time.